we can get more interviews, comma, possibly with the president. So we have. Good morning, good evening to all. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News. How's everybody doing? It is nice to say hello to you guys. It is nice to say, uh, you know, talk to you guys on this Thursday, May 9th of the year 2024. It is my pleasure to tell you guys that today at 5:30 West Coast time, it will be the documentary that Mr. Josh Phillips and his team of the Epoch Times putting together uh, to talk about, that is weapons of mass migration, and it is a documentary which we are in it. So I suggest that you guys go over there and watch it. Try to go over there and see the documentary. Go to Epoch Times, the Epoch Times platform. We are going to be one of the main characters in that documentary. And ultimately, the Darien Gap, it is going to be one of the most important critical epicenters that we are going to talk about. It is extremely important that you guys watch this, as Josh Phillips explains this perfectly of how everything it is evolving from South America into the borders of Mexico with the United States, and ultimately, lastly, into the United States of America, how everything goes and beyond, and how is geographically all well designed to continue with this humanitarian business, which I consider that this is a huge humanitarian business for these NGOs. Ultimately, this documentary was done on our last visit with Operation Burning Edge. This operation, it is being led by Mr. Michael Young and Miss Ann Vandersteel. They were the ones that they invited the Epic Times down to South America. I was there, and I had the pleasure to meet the whole team of Epic Times. As for it is the writing team, that is an incredible team of people that write for the Epic Times. As for it is ultimately the people and Josh Phillips' team, which I believe that he's a magnificent guy. I met Josh Phillips, the journalist, but I met Josh Phillips, the guy. So I'm more happy that I met Josh Phillips, the guy. And it's going to be a great documentary for people to see it. It is going to be premiered at 5:30 West Coast time. Possibly it's going to be 8:30 East Coast time, I believe so. So be sure to be watching. It's going to be extremely critical, this documentary. I just talked to Josh, and he told me it is going to blow people's minds. It is incredibly well done. Just to remember, Josh Phillips has in the Epic Times, they have the most watched documentary on COVID. They broke the barriers on this documentary, and they have the most watched documentary on this. So they are pulling all the strings to make it close to that. Uh, that documentary was watched by millions and millions of people around the globe. And now, this documentary that is so critical right now in our lifetime, that is mass of migration, that is a weaponized migration. Ultimately, now they are going to release it. I'm in it, the majority of the time. Let me just give you guys just a teaser. Basically, I explain everything from top to bottom, and ultimately, the NGOs are part of this humongous problem, and I will tell you why. As you guys seen, the new president, the current president of Panama that just came in, one of the statements that he made, it is that he wanted to shut the Darien down. He wanted to shut the border down. And immediately as he said that, guess who started attacking him? The people that started attacking him were the NGOs, were the United Nations, were the Human Rights Watch, were all these organizations. Ultimately, also from the Colombian side, they started saying we need to push this. So they're pushing people right now, and massively pushing people because they know that there's a possibility that they can regularize this place, so it could not be a place for people to migrate. It's a horrible place. But the most outstanding and incredible thing is that the NGOs, the ones that they watch for human rights, the ones that they are supposedly defenders of human rights, these people are advocating for this suffering and this horrible journey to continue. It is so incredible for me to I cannot fathom to understand how these organizations they're still promoting this place where migrants are paying quantities and exacerbated quantities to be smuggled and to be trafficked into this dangerous jungle that is not a route where they get abused, where they get raped, and that ultimately they get robbed, and that now they're saying that the cartel protects them in the part of Colombia and they get robbed specifically only in Panama. It's just incredible, the logistics, the NGOs, how they are. They know if this ends, they know if the Darien is being regularized, if the Darien, if they find another pathway for migrants to migrate safely, documented, peacefully, uh, and secure, they know that they will be out of business as they are out of business in El Salvador. In El Salvador, Nayib Bukele cleared that country with the gang violence. He extremely cleared that country. He cleaned it up. He made the biggest prison for narco terrorism. And as soon as he started cleaning it up and ending the funding of these NGOs, they started getting attacked. And ultimately, after they started getting attacked, they started, labeling Najib Bukele as an imperialist, as a dictator, as this, as that, And before they were attacking the government because the funding has completely ended. So now we're seeing nothing, not that similar. The president is slowly, the new president of Panama, the new elected president of Panama. Let me correct myself. He's slowly speaking on these topics. He's speaking on these topics. He has, he's tired of this, environmental disaster that is happening. Inside of the Darien, he's extremely tired of the abuse that migrants are suffering. He knows about the dangers of the jungle and the travesty and the horrible journeys and the nightmares that this has become for migrants. Ultimately, he knows that this has become an economy. So he particularly knows that this has become a business on the other side of Colombia for criminals, and this has become a business on the Panamanian side for the natives that they are inside and they have left their customs, they have left their culture for the guiding to guide migrants through the jungle. That is, what has become a profitable business inside of the jungle. So, weapons of mass migration. Today will premiere 5:30 West Coast time, 8:30 Eastern time, I believe. So, just messaging Josh, and he's excited. People are excited to see this documentary. I'm excited. I don't know what to expect featured in this documentary, but this is great work to be with the Epic Times, and we are going to continue working with them from here on in the future. But as an initiative, I think that we're really humble to say, you know what, this is what it needs to be done. We need to expose what is happening. Ultimately, it is affecting the Panamanian government. It's affecting ultimately everything. It's affecting the Panamanian people, the Panamanian territory. NGOs have completely brutally trying to attack the government continuously with lies and lies and lies and lies, as they do, as leftists do. And this has led to nothing, because their efforts has led to nothing. To nothing. They have completely stayed in the middle. And the Panamanian government is not letting these people take control. That is the thing that really getting them mad. Uh, as and the contrary, or what happens to in the U.S. and the borders with Mexico, the NGOs are the ones that they run this. The NGOs are the ones that they run As soon as a migrant gets into the United States, they're the ones that they go to these detention centers. They're the ones that they're always there, saying that you're violating international human rights and this and that and this and that. In comparison to what Panama is doing, Panama is really fighting directly front to front to these people. They're saying, okay, you want to help, it's okay, help, but do not take advantage of it. And we're trying to do something to stop it. Is the only country in the whole continent who has put a campaign to say, Darian, it is not around. Does it work? Did it work or did not work? It's not even the subject if it worked or not. The only subject that it means is that it's out there. The name, it is out there. Darian, it is not a route. Nobody has ever done that. Nobody came clean. Nobody said, no country, not even Mexico, not even the United States, that is the funder of a lot of the American taxpayers are funding these NGOs. And nobody came out knowing, oh, you know what? Let's stop this suffering. Let's stop this horrible journeys. Let's stop this. Nobody came out and said anything. And the only one that stepped up to the plate, the own Panamanian government, the own Panamanian people. So it's unbelievable to watch how these NGOs, now knowing, that now knowing that ultimately, it's gotten out of hand, and that ultimately the government, it is trying to do something about it or see what the hell is going on. Immediately Human Rights Watch is like, oh hell no, we are not going to allow that. We're going to fight, and we're going to fight for the persecuted migrant that is running away from fear and it has to cross the Darien, victimizing the migrants to make them less, to denigrate their possibilities of being a good profitable migrant. No, you have to denigrate them to feel victim, and then to take advantage of them and still continue to be funded. It is a reality. These NGOs, they live out of the human suffering, and let not forget that is a cruel reality, and that is what it is. God bless you guys. Stay safe. Thank you so much for joining in. It is nice to talk to you guys. It is nice to be, around you guys today. Weapons of mass migration. Do not miss it. Go to the Epoch Times platform, the Epoch Times website. You're going to see it at 5:30. It's around 4 hours and 20 minutes from now. We'll be closely watching to see if I can watch it, and see if I can watch the premiere, and see if I can watch the documentary. It is going to be incredible for me to try to watch it, try to see it, and see how our work it is put out there, man. I never say this, but I think I feel proud about myself. I never give myself a tap in the back, and never. I'm humble enough to just stay quiet. I'm that guy, Other people, shine, and we stay in the back. But I'm humble enough to say that I think that we did a great job, and I think that we did a good job, and and we try to do the best that we can to do what we have to. We have to give a great acknowledgement to our network, American Network, Real America's Voice News. My brother Ben Berquam, who he has walked with me, and we have walked together to Darien 4 times, uh, and we have exposed all these crimes. And it's just every time that I talk to Ben, it's always the same thing. It's always like, we already know when we say that we're going back, we already know that there's a possibility that we're not going to be able to come out, or we're going to suffer a lot in the consequences of being in there. And but that's what we have done, to risk ourselves, to put ourselves in harm's way, to show the American people in the world, uh, you know, uh, in my side, to show the Latino population, to show the whole continent, Spanish speaking population. On the side of Ben, he shows the American people, to show the reality of what this cruel mass migration. That's why a lot of people ask me why you're carrying children, Oscar, in the middle of the Darien, why you're doing this, why you're doing that. I'm trying to be compassionate so you can see how this globalists and these organizations and this global compact, and these elitists, they're just using people for their political gain and propaganda and votes. I'm trying to show you what people are going through and the horrible journeys that they're going through to get to a place and another place, and then inevitably the United States, which it's incentivizing these people to come and continue with this, heartbreaking journey that is horrible. So that's the reason why I do a lot of I do a lot of that, activity in to sense it, to bring some kind of sensitivity to the audience, to document ultimately also the cruel reality, and it's the thing that comes, and most importantly it's the things that comes out a thing that comes out of my heart, a thing that I do specifically at the moment. I see a child that is slipping down in a mountain, and if I can carry him for 5 minutes, I will do it. That's part of my heart. It's not a thing that I'm not a robot. I can feel. I'm not a piece of metal. I have a heart. So that's who I am. That's always who I have been. I care about children around the world. It's not only the migrant children. I care about the children which are suffering in our country of Mexico. I care about the youth, about America, which it is being brainwashed and attacked by these leftist, progressive, activists, mercenary, communist, socialist, liberals. I care about the youth in Venezuela, which has been taken over and hijacked by communists. I care about every youth. It's a world situation which we are going through, and that's my reason why try to put an example to it. Uh, and I try to put the initiative to show people. So a lot of people get upset. They say, "Don't carry them, leave them there." I'm not that man. I'm sorry. I am Team Jesus. So I am. I apologize for that. I'm Team Jesus. So I try to help the most vulnerable, and I try to do my job as much as I can. So thank you. God bless you. Weapons of Mass Migration. Today it is premiering at let me just uh the last text with Josh right here. Uh it is he told me that it's at 5:30 West Coast time, so I don't know if we are 3 hours away from West Coast. Somebody's saying where. So you go to the Epoch Times, Epoch TV, go to Epoch, the epochtimes.com, and from there you will have a place that is called Epoch TV. And then you can see there from the Epoch TV, ultimately where it's going to be. Go to the epochtimes.com. From there, you can see where you can watch it. And it is going to be, I think that it's going to be an outstanding documentary. Uh, it is going to show the cruel reality of what people go through. A lot of my video, it is being shown there. A lot of my video in the caravans, the confrontations which we have been in, with caravans with the National Guard, migrants fighting the National Guard. I have been in so many in precarious situations, which I believe that it's really sensitive, and a lot of my video is going to be shown on that. That's why I feel proud about myself of what we have done, and I cannot say that I have done this alone. My manager and also my network, Real America's Voice News, has been, you know, uh, the provider for us to get this information out. So um, a lot of the videos that are shown there, they're mine. They're from my platform, from Oscar Blue, which when I go live on the caravans and I walk, I shown the videos and the confrontations and the horrible situations which migrants go through, and the confrontations where they're using children as shields with the National Guard and all this kind of stuff. I think that it's a really important documentary why I believe, lastly, and my final thought, I believe that right now migration is at a critical point where it is a decisive, situation which you are, the American people, or the we the people are in charge to say, we want a secure border, or we want this to continue. That's the oh the you know the what I believe. They asked me what I believe with this. With this migration. I gave my point of view yesterday. I went on a hit with America's Voice. They asked me profoundly, what do I believe of bringing a lot of these people, a lot of the migrants, a lot of our people, using them for a political gain? What do I think that that is the purpose? Ultimately, in the long run, from 5 to 10 years, the Republican Party is going to be overrun. They're going to be overstepped, and there's going to be less and less Republicans. Ultimately, that is going to be it. And the majority of the people that they are, in the country, they are going to vote Democrat. So I believe strongly that this is a weaponized migration. It is being used with a purpose, and our people are being used for a political purpose. They're using our people. They know that they're vulnerable. They know that they're poor. They know that they're coming from an insecure communist country, and they're using them for a political gain, and they're using them for a political advantage. So they use that vulnerability. They offer to enter into the United States to provide supposedly a better life, and ultimately, at the end of the day, we need your vote. So I believe that that is specifically the number one action of this complete disastrous migration through all borders, that it has a purpose inside of the United States. The Republican Party is having a really hard time. It is divided. It is it's not a strong Republican Party as it has to be. A lot of the Republican, politicians are being complicit of what is happening, and ultimately, a lot of the Republican politicians at the borders have not done enough. So they have become passive to this situation because they want to keep their seat, they want to keep their job, and instead of fighting the organized crime, fighting these criminals that they are trafficking and abusing migrants through every border, and bringing this relentless migration through every border, hurting a lot of the migrants. A lot of migrants are dying, and our people are going to be used for a political purpose. It's sad for people to not have a bigger platform and to show this into a bigger platform, so they can understand what they're doing with them, and they can understand what is going to be the purpose at the end of the day. For me, uh, I can say that. I strongly believe that in the next, this coming election, it is going to be extremely important for the American people. And ultimately, from this election, we will know what direction the United States of America it is going to go through. If it is going to go through the direction which they are already implemented an idea of how they want to transform the United States into this new country with this new foundation, and completely, forget about how the United States started, or they will continue to fight off, and they will, continue of what that country has been and how what has become. It's really difficult this incoming election. This is why the Epoch Times Weapons of Mass Migration. It is extremely important documentary that you guys need to watch. Josh Phillips explains it correctly, fundamentally exact, and we have an interview with the former director of Centerfront, that is the border authorities. I went into the Darien with him being in charge 2 times. The other 2 times I went in with the new director of Centerfront, uh, and he's an incredible man. Is an incredible human being. He wants the best for the migrants. He wants the best for the Panamanian people, and ultimately, he wants the best for everybody. And who else better to explain it than him, that he was in charge of his position, and that he knows what kind of decisions need to be made and need to be done. That also is going to be, I don't want to spoil the documentary, but a lot of things you're going to see, a lot of things. So I don't want to spoil the documentary. So good. You guys need to go watch it. I met the young team of camera crew of Epoch Times. So I got to give a shout out now to not only to Josh Phillips, but also to the producer Melina. She's from Australia, but she lives in the United States. She's a great lady. Also, Polio, that he's a camera guy, an extremely good guy from New Zealand. There's another guy, which I forget, and man, I'm so sorry, but he's an incredible human being. He's from Brazil, really good guy. Also, he's a camera guy from Epoch Times. And ultimately, we had the writing crew. That the writing crew, man, is vicious. Ms. Arlene Sanchez and Mr. Sanchez. Both of them, they do an incredible job on writing, articles. And Ms. Darlene, watch out. Jesus, man, she's incredible. So Epoch Times doing an incredible job going down there to South America and putting out, a documentary for people to watch. Again, I will not extend too long. 5:30 West Coast time today. Go ahead and watch it. I'm about to go ahead and do a couple of things and get ready to watch it. I just want to sit down and watch every detail, every single detail of this documentary. I really want to go and see how it is and see how it's done and see every single thing that happened, every single detail, because I was behind the scenes, so I know, every single thing. So it's going to be interesting, and it's also important for you guys to watch, and it's really important for you guys to, from here on, understand, what we have been saying for years. I went in yesterday to do a hit with America's Voice, and apparently the hit was about that Joe Biden slipped and it said something about Hispanic voters, bringing in more Hispanic voters. Uh, and I said, as long as this is the thing that you guys need to understand, as long as the United States is in the international global compact of immigration, you guys are going to have a mass migration continuing. The United States is a collaborator of the global compact of immigration. I have said this for years. For years, I told you guys about this, and for years, I told you that this was going to be a mass migration as you have never seen in your lifetime. And this has happened. And ultimately, as long as the United States is a collaborator of that, this mass migration will continue. It does not matter how tall the wall is, how large the wall is, how many policies you put in the border, does not matter. You are under international law, humanitarian law. The ones that run your borders are the UN, nobody else. Why I say this? Because before, a migrant that used to come in through a non-port of entry used to be stopped, detained, processed, arrested, and possibly deported. Or if he did it a couple of times, 2 or 3 times, he will be serving some time in a federal prison in the United States of America. Now everybody it is crossing through a non-port of entry, being accepted, embedded in the border patrol. What they do is just they process them to a detention center where the Department of the DHS processes them with an NGO. An NGO takes care of them, and then they are being released. That is the process. Uh, this is the way that it works now. So, for you to understand why it works like that, it is because you are under a global compact of immigration. That is the number one thing. Number one thing, you are a collaborator of the global compact of immigration. So I did explain that yesterday, and I will explain it every day for you guys to understand what is the main reason of this huge problem. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you guys. Again, weapons of mass migration. It is going to premiere today, 5:30 West Coast time. Um, I think it's going to be 8:30 East Coast time. Be sure to watch it. It's going to be completely entertaining. And really, the most important thing, it is going to be extremely informative. So go over there, watch it, learn from it, and you know, try to send a message to all your family members of what the real thing is happening. God bless you. Stay safe. Follow all of our pages. Also, buy me a coffee. It is right there, pinned on the chat. If you guys like to contribute to my independent reporting and travel fund, you know, it's much needed. I haven't been traveling, but I'm planning to travel soon. So your help, it is much needed. Thank you. God bless. Stay safe. And like we always say, God's plan, it is our mission.